My first AYC was in 2007.
My first AYC was 2010.
I attended camp 6 times as a teen.
I was 15 years old when I came to my first camp.
I started coming to camp when I was 13.
My first AYC was in 2014.
And now I'm back as staff.
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 And now I'm here helping the next generation.
So camp is a wonderful opportunity for God's youth and staffers to come together and just to be together, to learn, to grow and to experience nature, experience teamwork, and experience the outdoors.
When we go to camp, the kids get that opportunity, the youth get that opportunity to be trained in God's way of life, to learn leadership skills for 2 weeks.
At camp, you're taken out from all distractions. Your phone is not there, internet is not there, and then you're refocused. I find that I am refocused when I'm there, and I just feel more rejuvenated and like ready to take on whatever is laying next for me afterwards.
AYC is an opportunity to grow, or a chance to change who you are, build your character in a way that you can't really do anywhere else.
If I had to describe camp in one word, it would be impactful. I've watched it throughout the progression of the 2 weeks, and then I've also watched it over years, and you can really see the people come into their own, and they start to let their personality and their jokes fly, and they get more comfortable with everybody and become more confident in themselves.
It means the world to me to be able to give back to the AYC campers. Now that I'm a grown up, I've been through camp as a camper myself. I really value the chance to be able to give back and see the joy that the teens are experiencing the same way I did when I was a camper.
Being able to see myself in others and give a little piece of myself back, I think is very special to me, and that's why I keep coming back every year.
What teaching the campers pretty much means to me is that I'm able to help the next generation learn what's to come as they're growing older, being an older brother to the campers in their lives.
I want to be able to give the next generation of campers just the same enthusiasm and experiences that I got through camp, and all the help that all the counselors gave me. I just want to put that back in, because camp is just such a great place. I just always want to be there, and I love to be there.
One of the things that I was nervous about was the high ropes course, but in the end I overcame that fear and just had a really, really great time.
I'm not usually scared of heights, but I don't know, the giant swing just seemed scary, but I decided I was just going to do it, and that was perfectly fine.
I saw a lot of campers try new things. I know a lot of us have different fears or different things that we don't necessarily want to do. But just almost every time I saw everyone just trying it, even if they didn't really want to, you could tell they didn't want to, but they tried it, have a good attitude. And I think that was definitely inspiring, and it kind of made me want to step out of my comfort zone in different areas as well.
When I sang my solo at camp, I felt very nervous beforehand, but I actually chose to do it because I was like, maybe just to leave a legacy behind for the campers, that nothing is impossible, and telling myself that it was much easier for me to get through that solo, to really sing out. I started feeling more confident towards the end, even though I forgot a bit of the words, but it was really fun.
Having confidence in knowing that God's always on your side is one thing that I learned throughout my whole years at camp. And knowing that God's always got your back and He'll be there for you. And it gives you this sense of confidence that nothing can stop you because God's always on your side.
The toughest challenge I think I faced as a camper wasn't necessarily an activity, but just being very shy. I think being shy is something that you're always overcoming, but I think at camp it just helps you just leap forward a lot faster.
I think challenge really is essential for growth physically because it helps us to push our limits to be able to accomplish more than what we really thought that we could.
Having the opportunity to teach young people at camp to make the Bible practical, and you go dig in and bring life lessons for them, and to really see them applying that. It's actually a joy.
The Bible lecture that stuck with me the most was one about Bible study. When you're going through a tough patch in your life, you can look for a word that you feel like relates to you at that time and find it in the Bible to help you overcome it.
There were two messages in particular that were really helpful to me as a camper. One was we were given this book about the Psalms, and we were able to, it had an index, and you were able to look through it and how it related to me at the time as a young person. And then the second one that I still think about even now is the question of, is this your parents' church or is this your church? And that kind of posed a question to me of, why am I here and why do I want to live this way of life? And it kind of made me think of a list of reasons why this is my church and I'm not just following my mom.
One of the lectures that stood out to me the most was actually this past year. It wasn't necessarily a lecture, but the girls were pulled aside into a separate group and we kind of discussed with the ministers' wives more things that related to women and like growing up in the church.
The lecture on tithing was really impactful to me, and I think to everyone, because of at the end of the lecture, a lot of the staff were able to share their stories on miracles and many blessings that they received because of tithing.
We were able to have a sermon from Mr. Sirocco, and it kind of dealt with friendship, and it really focused in on the fact that true friends are the ones that are going to tell it like it is and really truly evaluate you, and you should do the same to your other friends. And it kind of made me look and see at the friends that I have, and it showed me which friends were closer and which ones were not necessarily the best.
The Bible study from Mr. Denis about how looking at creation can strengthen your faith in God. Since I was back from camp, I just view nature a lot more closely. It just shows how much planning God must have put into the world and how plants and animals function. I don't think that something like that could have just randomly happened. It must have been through God.
My most memorable moment at AYC was during my first AYC back in 2010. I remember the last day of camp, having to say my goodbyes and making our way back home. I remember crying, sobbing. I was absolutely heartbroken that I had to leave AYC, leave my new friends, and go back home. So I think that will always stick with me.
My first year camp was 2007, and my very first day I arrived, we met up all together and they were having breakfast, and I was like the last camper there, and I was so nervous and I didn't know what to do, and it felt like everybody already knew each other and they couldn't have because they just met because it was the very first camp. But one of the campers came over and then she introduced me to everybody else, and it just made me really feel a part of it and like really notched down the nervousness.
Around 2021, maybe my third camp of AYC was the dinner dance. I'd never been a big dancer, never really been into the line dancing or really getting into those, but that year specifically, I got good with the line dances. I really got the dances down, and I really came out of my shell for that AYC and just went all out for the dance. I really felt like that was a turning point almost, seeing that everyone was enjoying it with me and I could really just participate to the fullest. And I don't think I've ever held back since at a dinner dance.
I think AYC helped me feel more at home and a part of the church fully by just having those people that I can rely on. I think people are what make a home. I've moved a lot throughout my life, and my most important aspect of feeling like I was at home is I was with my family. So developing those bonds with everybody kind of made me feel like, okay, this is my family. So then that in turn made me feel like I'm at home.
When I went to camp, I learned a lot about hard work, ethics, leadership, a lot of leadership qualities. They talk about it all the time, and I use a lot of that in my day-to-day with my work life, because now we run a business and I have people under me, and I have to think about all the leadership talks that we had about kindness and putting your team first and hard work. And I still use a lot of what I learned there in my day-to-day life.
I think something that I could only get at AYC was being able to meet all the different people from all around the world, from all the different countries. The different places that I had friends from was like Nigeria, Australia, England, India, just to name a few.
So my closest friends here at AYC are really like sisters to me. We talk on a daily basis. We talk about personal things, about hardships that we're going through together, and we help each other through it. So I really consider them as my own sisters, and really I'm very grateful for having them in my life.
If I were to say one vivid memory I would have from my time at camp, it was saying goodbye. And that sounds so sad and just kind of like, why are you remembering that? But it was just kind of like a sum of just all the emotions felt and just all the memories that we shared together, and just went, okay, I'll see you next year, and just remembering that it's not the end and next year will be a great time as well.
I hope that the teens will realize what they've been given. It's not just a regular 2-week camp. Yes, there's the basic elements that every other camp will have, but ultimately to make them more effective people that they can help and edify other people as they grow older.
If you're ever hesitant to come to AYC and you're not sure what to expect, absolutely come. The amount of memories that I have had from going to camp for 10 plus years, I cannot explain how much this will mean to you if you come to camp.
Camp definitely is important. It impacts everyone. It impacted me dramatically, and it changed my life, and everyone I know that I still talk to, it changed their life. So it is definitely worth going and trying to help if anyone else wants to go.
One thing that I hope campers take home with them is that they're not alone. I think whether it be knowing that God is with them or knowing that other people are with them that are living this way of life, I think it's very important to know out in the world, you may be separated from other people, you may not have people you can connect with, but knowing that there are people here looking out for you, I think is very important.
I believe AYC matters to teens in God's church because it's a place where teenagers can come away from the world and draw closer to God and understand living His way of life brings so much peace and joy.
AYC is just crucial to God's church. It raises the next generation, the new ambassadors, and I think we all play a part in it, whether it's the teens who play a part in doing what they need to do to be at the next camp, or it's the older people who can help fundraise, or the children who can look up to their older siblings or older members in their congregation.
If you're hesitant out there and thinking maybe I shouldn't do it, just come to Camp AYC. My first year, I was very hesitant to come and even nervous, and I came and have no regrets. After that, I kept coming back each and every year.
The things that the campers take away and staff take away from AYC is priceless. You have to be there and experience it to really understand how special it is.
AYC is worth all that effort from everybody that helps with the fundraising and to get the campers there, because it really shows that the youth matter. Because the youth, it's so important to be able to train our youth and to teach our youth God's way of life. And I just want to say that don't let anything hold you back. Step out of that comfort zone and make sure that you make it to camp.